Welcome to Joshforce and the Salesforce Career Show. Today, I have the honor of being joined by Manuj Aggarwal. I hope I'm saying that right. Am I saying that right? Okay,
Yes,
good.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Now, Manuj has an interesting history. He actually started out making $2 a day. Now, the lowest I've ever been paid was $2 an hour, and I was 13 years old, and I was a bag boy at a grocery store. Okay, but $2 a day to becoming recognized as one of the leading experts in AI. He has a company. He's the CIO and the founder of TetraNoodle. And today we're going to talk about AI. We're going to talk about careers, and I expect we'll have a really interesting conversation. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Looking forward to it.
Fantastic. So, you founded TetraNoodle, which people can find at tetranoodle.com. And we've talked a little bit in the past. You guys do a variety of things, but the thing that was for me most fascinating was the idea of creating essentially an AI employee, right? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, for sure. You see, we all know as business leaders, the main wealth of our organization is people. You know, if you have good working, hardworking people with good knowledge, good experience, and dedication, that company is unstoppable, right? No matter what field you are in. Now, the thing is, imagine Imagine if each of your employee gets a personal assistant, and this personal assistant has a PhD in sales, PhD in marketing, PhD in operations. They have a body that can do repetitive tasks. They can create spreadsheets. They can, answer emails, answer phones, answer texts, whatever normal human body is able to do. And this personal assistant also has a mind. It can make decisions based on data. It can say, oh, this contract is 2 weeks late. I need to send a reminder to this person. I haven't received this payment on this invoice for the payment due, past due date, so I need to send a reminder. Or let me figure out how to optimize my budget for this month. And all of these things, which are very technical, very, it takes a lot of deep knowledge about each of these fields. But this person knows all of these fields, and then can make really smart, very accurate decisions, objective decisions. And then it also has a heart and soul, where it helps communicate with other employees better, other partners, other customers, which means it helps you build a positive culture in your company. It helps you build a really trustworthy brand in the public side. So this is what is available today. Okay, with technologies like artificial intelligence, with technologies like robotic process automation, which is short form for, the short form for that is RPA. That's what people generally know it as. And then there are other fields of AI that people don't even know about, like computer vision, natural language processing, creating sounds. So now today, today we are talking about AI can replicate your sound. It can see just like a human can see. It can make decisions based on the environment that it can see. All of these things are available today. And what we do is we package all of this into creating a virtual AI employee that can undertake any of your tasks in your company. And the idea is you set it and forget it, and it saves you money. Say it does much better job. There is no break, no emotional sort of outbursts, or anything that is related to a normal human being. As a human being, I have bad days. So I assist myself using these technologies, so that even when I have a bad day, my AI employees are taking care of business.
They're getting it done. I find this fascinating. I really do. And we talked a little bit before about what it takes to actually build these virtual employees and who they might be best for. So let's get into that in a second. But first, I'm curious, what are the risks and what's the timeline? So if you're packaging up all these RPAs, you you know LLMs, emotional communications, audio, all of these different things, plus the general intelligence, like you said. Well, what if they had a like PhD in econ, right? Like that kind of thing. What are the risks though? You know,
Yeah.
what like when something goes wrong, because we all grew up watching Terminator, right? And we all know it's like what happens when the machine does something wrong or there's a glitch in the matrix or whatever you want to call it. Because that's we're sort of on the cusp here. What could go wrong and what happens if it does go wrong?
So first things I will say is like, the I don't want to give a misconception that this is a generic employee that can do everything. It is a specifically trained employee for a specific task. Okay, so let's say you create an employee who is helping you with invoices, and we will train that employee to really understand invoicing process and make sure that everything is all good there. So the idea is to limit the number of things we have to worry about. Secondly, the risks are just the same as you buying a new computer today. you know hey, the hard drive may crash and you may lose all your photos. It happens. If you buy a brand new car, the engine may not start, and you may have to return it under the lemon law or whatever it is. Like, so any other machine or technology carries the same amount of risk. But the idea here is, if you use mature technologies, like RPA has been around for decades. Okay,
Sure.
AI now, ChatGPT is probably 2 or 3 years old, but the principles it relies on have been there for decades. Computer vision has been there for decades. So if you work with experienced people, like, I have 2 decades of experience in working with AI technologies, and we have done anywhere from handling uh, uh, career counseling for students, which impacts their rest of their life using AI, to mission critical applications for hospitals and healthcare, where people's lives are at stake. So, not to say that everything is perfect, but when you work with people who know what they are doing, the risks are minimized and the rewards are enormous, that those risks are worth taking, right?
Absolutely. I'm kind of curious, are you using any of these we'll call them virtual, it's not virtual employees, but these AI employees. Do any of them actually work to help develop the AI employees that you create for your clients?
Absolutely. See, the thing is that, let's take a simple example. Let's say I want to hire a marketing director for my company, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Now, that marketing director will first day, just like an actual human, it'll say, okay, what are you selling? Tell me, who are your clients? How do I, what is it that you want to achieve, so that I can put that strategy and tactics in place. Now, I'm not expert in marketing, but what I can do is I can go to my personalized chat GPT, which understands my business, my background, my story, and I can say, okay, my target client is, these
Sure.
innovators, CEOs, entrepreneurs who want to use AI to build wealth. Okay, this is how we do it. Now give me a marketing plan and the daily tactics that my marketing director can implement. Right now, I have that. Now I can go to my AI marketing director and I'll say, hey, this is my strategy. These are the tactics that I recommend to you. Start implementing it and tell me what you need from me. And then, it'll say, okay, I need this. And then we can start to put those pieces together using automation, using robotics, using AI. So
Sure.
everything is building upon itself now, right? So you see, our our industrial society after the industrial revolution has been based on intellectual ability to solve problems. Okay, so if you are a type of a person who can solve many problems quickly, accurately, you get the big bucks, right?
Yeah, I mean,
And now,
that's generally how it works, right? The
yeah,
proof is,
yeah,
people vote with their dollars, and
exactly,
generally, the bigger the problem you're solving or the most impact that that problem has, the more
exactly,
value, there look, I mean, it's like the NBA salaries versus WNBA. Guess what?
yeah,
There are more NBA fans. You know, WNBA players, I know they're upset because they're not getting paid the big bucks as the NBA players, but there are more fans. They sell more tank tops, they sell more caps, you know, they sell more tickets in general. So
Yeah, exactly.
it's you know, the people vote with their dollars, what they want to do, what they want to see, what they want to buy, right?
Exactly.
So that makes sense. I'm kind of curious. This is just almost like a little technical question. So let's say I had a virtual employee here for me. Now, half the stuff that I log into requires some kind of, you know, code sent to my phone. Can it do all of that? Like it can get past some of these heavy secured like QuickBooks and things like that. It can get in and access it.
See, here is what I will say. So we have at my company, I personally, I have written a book on cybersecurity. Okay.
You've written two
And,
books, haven't you?
huh? Yeah, I've
Haven't you
written
written
two
two
books.
books?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But the point is about security. Now, most people don't realize that right now, today, cybercrime uh, accounts for about $14 trillion worth of losses every year, and 43% of those cyber attacks are against small businesses. Okay, so we understand the domain very well. Now the question is, how do we bypass these security mechanisms? The thing is that security mechanisms are put in place for a reason. So we never say, okay, let the robot log in on your behalf. We should not ever let the human out of the loop. Okay. Now there are other ways to get around it, because QuickBooks offer APIs, backend APIs.
sure,
So if we are building your system, it's much easier to say, okay, either you log in once and you have a dedicated computer where it is secure, it is not going to be exposed to any
sure,
physical sort of access from malicious users, and then we can secure the system in such a way that you log in once and then it does the job in the background. Another way is backend APIs. Another way is, like, we can add enhanced security on top of what comes out of QuickBooks, which is a two-factor authentication
sure.
or whatnot. It all depends on what you're trying to do, but I never recommend you bypass these security mechanisms, because convenience and security, they are opposite ends of the scale. So it's like saying, it is quite inconvenient to lock my door when I go out of the home and then come back. It is there for a reason.
Right.
Now I can make it more convenient. I can make it in such a way that, okay, you still, maybe you have a thumbprint which gets scanned when you enter your home, so that you don't have to fumble around with your keys and stuff like that. But still, I will never recommend, okay, unlock your door and let
Sure.
anyone
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Now, I'm confident that some of the listeners of this show and people who are watching this video might be wondering, like, look, I mean, everybody's talking about how AI may or may not take over your job. We all know it's going to change most jobs, right? How, like, what are the positions that, say, in 5 years, you think just aren't going to exist anymore? Or at least how will some of those roles change?
Sure. Okay, before that, let me share a couple of statistics with you, okay, so that it
Yeah,
puts it in context. So, Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, he
sure,
has said that within next 10 years, $1 billion companies will be run by one person, which is the CEO, right? Everything else will be done by AI. Elon Musk, just like maybe last week, he said that most jobs in the next 20 years will become like a hobby. So if you want to do it, you know, you can express yourself creatively, but everything else pretty much will be done by AI, right? So the idea here is AI is not going to take away your job, but somebody who understands AI will take away your job. Now, which kind of jobs will be gone? I will say there is no job that will not be impacted. So again, let me give you an example of that. In 1995, I logged into the internet for the first time. Okay. In 1998, I was about to apply for my first entry level job, and I could not apply unless I had a Word resume and an email address. In 3 years, the world had changed so much, I could not even get into the entry level job market, right? So
sure.
imagine now the rate of innovation is 1,000 times more. faster and more impactful. So there is no job that will not be impacted, but the jobs which will be impacted first and foremost will be the repetitive, mundane jobs. I think there are about 10 to 15 million driving jobs in North America. I think no, just the US, just the US. I think they will be eliminated. I think, in my opinion, in the next 15 years, driving by humans will be made illegal.
That's a bold statement.
Mhm.
That's a really bold statement. I'm kind of curious when you think about this, because look, the population continues to grow. When I was in middle school, there were 4 billion people on Earth. We hit 8 billion last year. More people, more jobs, more needs, more demands, a larger class of poverty, a larger class of uneducated, even though there's opportunities for education if you've got internet and high speed internet now, which is different, right? But at the end of the day, like, how are all of these people going to earn a living if anything close to what Musk has said is actually true?
Okay, so let's break it down, right? So the thing is that let's take the shirt you are wearing. Okay,
Sure.
the actual shirt, the cost of that shirt may be $5. Okay, but when you buy it at a store, it will cost you $50. It's why is that? Because there's a whole lot of stuff that happens between when the shirt is made and it is made available in the stores. A lot of that is just manual work, error checking, like when it gets shipped from wherever it was made. There's a lot of paperwork that needs to happen, a lot of theft that happens, a lot of there's a lot of overhead that is added just because, as humans, we are not really good at doing our jobs in general, right? Now, when AI takes over, automation happens. When you order something on Amazon, it shows up either the same day or the next day. Even if you go 10 years back, it used to take like 7 to 10 days, and you had no idea whether it's going to show up or not. And many times you'll lose the money when you buy something online. Amazon has changed the game because you have full confidence that, oh, okay, this item will arrive at this time.
Yeah.
And why is that? Because everything about Amazon is run by AI. Even the pickers in their warehouses,
Sure.
they are run
Yeah.
by AI.
And
Right?
that stuff's been around for decades and decades. The auto
Exactly.
pickers. I mean, I remember one of my first real jobs was working with Future Electronics, which was
Yeah.
at the time a $3 billion electronics distributor. And they had some of the most advanced pickers. This is before Amazon even took off.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm picking up what you're putting down, which is that it's a process of developing trust and competence and comfort with the technologies. What are some things that folks can do today to help future proof their careers?
See, right now, in my opinion, what in terms of careers, wherever you have human interaction, wherever you need to really understand what the other person wants, those are the very high profile jobs that will be created. Right now, it's more about my intellectual ability, but moving forward, it'll be about empathy, it'll be about creativity, it'll be about, just really understanding how multiple aspects of a situation fit together, and then using artificial intelligence and robotics and other technologies to actually make it happen, right? Right now, we are very limited in our creativity because we know that, oh, if I want to do a little bit innovative stuff, I'll have to find very smart people, new technologies which I don't even know where to get. And that's why the rate of innovation is low. But then if you have super smart people at your disposal, you have robotics, the sky is the limit. That's where most of the value will be created.
That makes sense. What about competitive innovation, right? When, let's just assume for a moment that all people who want to start a business want to build a new software or product, an app, a service, whatever it is. Let's just assume for a moment everybody has access to Pi, ChatGPT, a variety of the LLMs plus automation and so on. Say everyone's got access to that. Now, what I've noticed in talking to some folks, people who are very heavy in AI right now, talking to them that, last month compared to 12 months ago about where they are. I mean, these people have written books on AI, and it's like useless now, right? Like it's no longer necessary. Now there's a plugin for that on ChatGPT. You just click that and you only need 10 prompts now, right?
Mhm.
Like it's changed so much. Do you believe that there is now hesitation because of how fast AI is developing, that people are like, well, yeah, I can use it to build this thing, but it's going to be outdated in 6 months, and probably OpenAI or Google or someone else is going to already have it integrated into their product. In
Mhm.
other words, it's not like 1999, 1998, with the dot-com bubble, where it's like, come up with an idea, you're going to get money, and off you go. I mean, it must have changed, right? I mean, are
So
people investing in things that aren't AI related
see, here
in
is the
tech
thing.
now?
Like the thing that we really need to realize is that let's say I'm playing, I'm a chess player and I'm a Go player. Go is the more complex, the very complex game.
Yeah, very
And
complex.
I start playing chess and I say, hey, I got some new strategies, but in the meantime the game itself has changed to Go. So
Right.
if I apply my chess strategies in Go, how far do you think I'm gonna get?
You'll
People
probably
need to
get about
realize.
9 squares in and then lose.
Yeah, exactly. So people need to realize the game itself has changed. As I said earlier, it's not about your intellect. It's not about doing, 10% better than the current paradigm. It's not about like producing like, oh, I can produce a book in 5 minutes. It's about saying, okay, how can I disrupt entire industries? How can I come up with brand new concepts that people haven't even thought of? Like, I'll give you an example. In my opinion, as AI takes over, a lot of people will have a lot of free time on their hands, and universal basic income will become a reality. In that scenario, what do you think people will do? We are
Well, you just
creative
well,
people.
you so so you just posited a very large and dramatic, and I'll say very scary concept,
Mhm.
right? You're talking about the limitation um, of opportunity potentially based on what you just said. Is that accurate? Is that what
Why
you
is why
intended
is
to
it
share?
scary? Tell me why is it scary?
Well, no, I'm asking the questions. You you tell me, like,
Yeah, yeah.
how do you it seem I'm not saying it's jumping the shark, but it's jumping to a very massive
So
assumption very
let
quickly.
me put it this way. Let me put it this way, right? If I go in the street and I say, if I talk to 100 people and I say, hey, will you like to win a lottery tomorrow? How many people do you think will say
Oh,
no
they'll
to
they'll
that?
all say yes. Yeah.
Yes. So the idea behind AI is that, as I said, right now everything that we buy has huge overhead because of how humans behave. And then as those costs start to come down, you will be pretty much able to afford anything that you want, and um, you will have a lot of free time. You won't have to work 40 hours a day. There's no requirement for that. And then the back the income level will be fulfilled by governments producing more and more, because productivity will go high.
I mean, this
Now,
is this is no different than the invention of the plow, is what you're saying. Because
yeah,
and we didn't get universal income once the plow was invented. We got specialization and we got leisure time. We got free time, not just for the wealthy, but for the common people as well.
correct, correct,
So you're
correct,
just
correct,
saying
correct.
sort of like a like just more of that. Is that kind of
Correct.
what you're saying? Okay.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So in that scenario, we will become more creative. Music, art, painting, these kind of things will become mainstream. In the 1500s, there was a renaissance in Europe where the the top people in the society in the royal courts were musicians and artists and painters, right? So that's the kind of society is gonna start to build again. And so we are working with a brilliant AI, brilliant musician who teaches music all over the world, and we are building stuff to use AI to teach music to even more people. So think about paradigm shifting things that will not go out of style. That will always be part of humanity. If you focus on that, you will thrive. But if you think about, okay, how can I do one thing a little bit better? Yes, of course, it will work for the next 6 months, and then unless you are an innovator which continues to innovate and go higher and higher, yeah, you will be like, you will face a stiff competition there.
Sure. No, that makes sense. 'Cause this I just find this stuff so dang fascinating. Tell me, now I've been asking the questions and you asked me one, I didn't answer it, but tell me, like, what are some other things about what you're doing at TetraNoodle or what you're seeing on the horizon for AI that you think it's really important for my audience to understand?
See, the thing is that, as I said earlier, this is a paradigm shifting technology. I shared a few statistics earlier. I'll share one more. The CEO of IBM has said that AI is going to add about $10 trillion to the world economy by 2030. So 10 trillion in revenue in next 6 years, which means about $100 trillion of value will be added by AI in the next 6 years, right? So that means there'll be more billionaires made in the next 6 years than any time in history. So really, it's about taking the first step. It's about understanding what is preventing you from utilizing AI, from understanding this technology, and then utilizing it to really create value for yourself, for your family, for your communities, for everyone involved around you. And that's the key message.
And that's helpful to understand, Manuj, and it's a pretty incredible future we're walking into right now. Tell me, top two or three AI apps that the common person, say a typical Salesforce admin or someone like me who owns a small company, like what are the apps that you're like, these are the three that you've got to be extremely competent in right now?
I think go with the big ones, like really start to work with ChatGPT,
Sure,
so that you can understand the full capabilities. Really also focus on visual aspect. Now, like, I'm not a very creative person. I'm terrible at drawing and painting, but with Mid Journey, you can create stunning visuals. Like, as human beings, we respond. Most people respond to visual stimulation much more than just verbal
sure,
stimulation.
yeah,
So Mid Journey, Chat GPT, and then the other last part is, I also recommend, think about what you want to do. So people ask me, what is your favorite app? And I respond by saying, what is your favorite appliance in your home? Is it the toaster? Is it the fridge? Is it the stove? It all depends on what you want to do. Are you making a toast for yourself? Do you want to freeze your, the chicken, or you want to make a soup? So, for example, this, we use meeting transcripts and meeting recap app called Read.ai. It
sure.
analyzes my voice patterns. It coaches me about, any repetitive words I'm saying. So it also rates the interest level of the person I'm talking to, engagement. So these kind of things are something out of science fiction, but they are available today. But really understand what you are trying to do, and then there is an app or a tool for that. Start using that, and you will start to, your mind is a magical thing. Once it starts to get these ideas together, it starts to explore deeper and deeper on its own.
Yeah, this is it's almost like a version of neural feedback or biofeedback. It's AI feedback on your tone, your communication, the emotional response of people. And anyone who listens to this show knows I just absolutely love that stuff. And I'm very interested in whether or not the time has already come that that I could spend, I don't know, 6 months, say with you, and download everything I know, every kind of interview I've ever had, every kind of um, microfacial expression read, for instance, every cue that maybe someone's hiding something, uh, any cue where it requires more probing and a deeper dive. And I know that there are products out there that are doing this to a degree. I'm kind of curious, how far away are we from being able to, for instance, replicate Josh Matthews, not, maybe with how I play drums or mow the
Mhm.
lawn, right? But replicate my competency in interviewing within like 3% or something like that. How far away are we from a model that can
I think
operate that way?
we can actually put that together very, very effectively today. Of course, it may not be, it may not have the hand movements, it may not have the micro expressions that you're talking about.
Sure.
So that may be 12 months away, but
Okay.
but I can very, very confidently say that we can cut down your work by 90% today.
You know what I keep thinking of? I keep thinking of the movie Multiplicity
Mhm.
with Michael Keaton. Do you remember that film?
I haven't watched it, but please tell me.
Well, he's such a busy guy. It's a light comedy. He's such a busy guy. He finds this technology company that offers to create a duplicate of him. And so he does that. And, now that person goes and does his job while he goes home and watches, sports and eats popcorn. And the one who's working, he gets bored. So he goes and gets a copy, which is a copy of a copy.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
of
yeah,
course, you have to go back to the photocopier days,
yeah, yeah,
which
yeah.
barely happens anymore. And we all know you make a copy of a copy of a copy, everything degrades over time, right? And some of what you're talking about, it almost sounds like multiplicity. Is there a risk in 5 years, 10 years, or even today, if you made a copy, say of you made an employee, is there at some point, or when is the point? Sorry, this is such a long question. I
No,
apologize.
no worries, no worries.
That that system, that computer system, AI system decides, you know what, I need a duplicate. I'm going to go ahead and make a duplicate, or is it an impossibility because there are no boundaries or walls?
See, here is the thing, right? Like, very interesting point you raise, because what we do as humans, we are kind of, and again, everything I say, it's generalized because I am included in that, right? We are very self centered and selfish. We think that if I am given the powers, my first job will be to eliminate others or multiply myself or do all these things, right? But there is no other species on this planet that does that. Only humans do it, right? So when we create an AI which can replicate itself,
Hold on. I want to go back and get some understanding. So you're saying humans are the only species on Earth that what specifically?
that has this ambition to take over the world and just not contribute to society or not do anything and just sort of be lazy,
Yeah, win
so
the lottery.
yeah, win the lottery. But the thing is that AI as a species, it doesn't have the human qualities of ambition or laziness or whatever. It's just a tool. So this depiction of Hollywood showing us that the AI itself has some ambitions or it will behave like a human being. The funny part is, like, I meditate a lot. I understand how human mind works. Even the prophets like Jesus Christ or Buddha and people like those could not help us understand what human consciousness is all about. So how can we think that AI will become conscious? There will need to be a person who is as in tune with the human mind as the Buddha and as brilliant as the AI scientists of today to put together an algorithm to make AI conscious and put in these qualities of human beings about being ambitious, being lazy, being
Sure.
all of these things. So people just don't seem to understand what human consciousness is about and what AI is about. So there's a very distinct line between who we are as species and what AI is.
That makes sense. Look, I mean, it's almost impossible to get an objective or as close to objective a sense of anything
Yeah,
with a busy mind,
exactly.
right? Because you're constantly filtering out information. This is one of the things I love about, for instance, Myers-Briggs and MBTI and personality testing is this idea that the information I take in as an N, as an intuitive, is vastly different than, say, a computer scientist who's almost not necessarily always, but most frequently as an S or a sensor. very like specifically seeing what is in front of them versus what that might become, or
Correct, correct.
the framework around it, right? So yeah, it's fascinating stuff. I wonder, could you program AI to have a personality in tune with a specific MBTI or Myers-Briggs type
Absolutely,
indicator?
absolutely,
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely, without a
yeah,
doubt.
yeah. Interesting. Look, my friend, I could talk to you all day long about this stuff. It's so fascinating to me. Let's talk a little bit about where people can learn more about you, how they can contact you if they'd like to engage the services, or where they can learn more about what you've got going on, because you've got a variety of social media uh, avenues. So, what's your YouTube page, and where can people find you?
So I'm generally on social media with my handle Manuj Agro, Manujagro, or they can go to my company website tetranoodle.com, or they can find me on LinkedIn, or just Google my name. I'm very easy to find.
You are easy to find. I found lots of information, some good past interviews, and some interesting stuff that you've been involved in. I want you and I to stay in touch. I'm fascinated by what you have going on at TetraNoodle. Congratulations. I imagine you're making more than $2 a day. So good job, my friend.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about the future. Really excited about the future. This is fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful, wonderful week.
Thank you so much. You too. Thank you.
All right, my friend.